Fleming College is undoubtedly one of the top names that comes in any student's mind when they think of studying in Canada. So the college is reputed, has easy access to Toronto, and offers a range of programs for everyone. In today's video, we are joined by Zameer Rizvi, International Recruitment Officer at Fleming, to answer all your questions regarding studying at this college. Also, before we begin, I'm dropping the link to download a free handy guide that contains all the information you need to study at Fleming, which includes courses, tuition fee, campus maps, accommodation, entry requirements, and more. The guide will help you with your research and know all about the college before you start your application, so do check that out. Now let's start with Chapter 1, Introduction to the College.
So Fleming College is one of the 24 public colleges in Ontario, Canada. We are one of the 24 public colleges, as I mentioned. We are located in the city of Peterborough. That's where our main campus is. And then we do have other two campuses in the city of Lindsay, which is called Frost Campus, and then in the city of Haliburton, which is called Haliburton Campus. So what makes it different when it comes to choosing Fleming College? I guess it would be fair to say that any institution in Canada does provide a quality education. However, there are some unique programs, or the quality or the way that the programs are offered makes every college is different. So at Fleming, the difference for us is the quality or the real life learning experience we provide through our programs. Now, what it means by that is, irrespective of which program the student chooses, they either have the internships, co-op, field placement, or applied project that gives them the real world experience.
Chapter 2, Courses. Fleming offers programs at UG and PG level in a range of subjects such as art and design, business and information technology, community services, environmental and natural resources, general arts and sciences, health, and trades and technology. Courses are available in January, May, and September intakes.
Basically, at Fleming, we have around 100 programs. Now, they're divided into many different schools. So at Fleming, we offer undergraduate programs and then the postgraduate programs. At the undergraduate programs, we have either 1-year certificates, or either we have 2-year diploma or 3-year advanced diploma. At the postgraduate, we have postgraduate certificates, which are either 1 year of 2 semesters and then 2 year of 4 semesters.
Chapter 3, Entry Requirements. How much percentage is required in 12th and bachelor's? Are backlogs accepted? Is math required for health courses? Are there any other entry requirements? Don't worry, we asked Zameer all these questions. Also, the free guide in the description box and pinned comments has detailed info on this, so don't forget to download that.
So for the undergraduate, the minimum qualification student must have is the grade 12. They should have, it depends on where the students are coming from. If the students is coming from South Asia, they have a different academic requirement. If the students coming from East Asia, they have a different. So it will depend where the students are coming from, but I'll just give in general the idea of the students coming from the South Asia, for example. So for them, they must have a minimum 55% overall in their high school, and then in their 3 core subjects, they should have minimum 55 as well. So that's for the undergraduate. For the postgraduate, the student must have minimum bachelor. They could have masters as well. So, if they have done masters, we will be more than happy to look at the master's course. Basically, we look at the most recent education, and if they're not qualified with the most recent, then we go one education back. So if they're not qualified with masters, we'll go to bachelor. But if they're not qualified even with bachelor, then they are not eligible. So for the postgraduate program, overall 55% is required in the last education related to bachelor's. For 3-year degrees, no more than 6 backlogs. Reattempts are fine. We don't count reattempts. For the 4-year degree, maximum 8 backlogs are fine. We don't have a study gap requirement. So even if the student has 7 years of study gap, that's fine for us. So that's the academic. However, when the student is applying for the undergraduate program or the postgraduate, some program have a specific requirement where the student is applying from. Let's say if the student is applying for the healthcare and administration program postgraduate, the bachelor must be from the health field technically. Someone from a business background cannot apply for this program unless they have a working experience that they can show. Then there could be a considerability. It's not a guarantee, it gets reviewed, but basically they need to have the equivalent degree if asked. For some program, it's very straightforward where you are allowed even if you're coming from any background. But for those one, for the viewers, you definitely connect with the Leap Scholar Leap GB team because they basically have all the information from A to Z on what programs is about admission requirement. For the undergraduate, is the similar. Someone who's coming from a health program, they will must have, the physics, chemistry, biology, math. These requirements. Someone coming from business, they must have. So there are certain programs that have a math requirement. For health program, mandatory math requirement is grade 12. If they don't have math, we do accept physics in plus in placement replacement of math for health program. However, there are business program that has math, but then that requirement is either grade 12 math or grade 10 math with the commerce subjects in grade 12. It sounds complicated, it isn't. Just connect with the Leap GB team, is very straightforward. Depending upon which background you're coming from. So it's very lenient in terms of the very straightforward requirement. It's just like you just have to make sure that you have those subjects if you are studying. There are some courses where we accept the student from any background. Let's say social service worker, student from any background is accepted because it's more in towards the counseling, so it'll be fine. But we do see a lot of art students getting applying for those programs. So these are basically in overall the generic academic requirements when it comes to undergraduate and postgraduate.
Chapter 4, Money Matters. Tuition fee, accommodation, food, mobile bills and transportation are the 5 most important things to know when you're budgeting for your college abroad. If Fleming is your choice, Zameer answers all these queries for you. Let us hear from him.
So for the undergraduate program, let's say someone who's coming from a diploma, for 1 year, and now in the 1 year we count 2 semesters. Sometimes the students will start in, so any students who start in September study 1 semester, 2 semesters, they take a 4 months break and then again 3rd and 4th. But if they start in January and May, they do all the semesters in a stretch. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, they don't get 4 months of summer break. So if I say 1 year, the students sometimes think, oh, January to December is 1 year. But from the academic perspective, 1 year is 2 semesters. So for 1 year tuition fee, it will be approximately for undergraduate program. I'm just giving a range. It could be $16,000 to $17,000, or for some advanced diploma program, it could be even $18,000 for 1 year, which means 2 semesters. For postgraduate, it could be somewhere around $18,000 to $20,000, depending upon which program they choose. So I'll always go with the higher range, just so that you kind of like prepare yourself. Now, in terms of the annual budget that the student should have, well, once, let's say if you have applied to Fleming, minimum you will have to pay to secure your seat will be 1 semester fees, which means that you have to pay your minimum 1 semester, then only you will hold a seat. So that's just the Fleming requirement. However, if you're coming to Peterborough, I know apart from GIC is, I guess, $20,000 depending upon which if you're eligible, if it's applied to you from the country you're applying from. On an average, let's say monthly, in what accommodation, what cost goes into the monthly budget is accommodation, your food, your phone bill, and transportation probably. In Peterborough, the transportation is free. Maybe in Lindsay, you may have to pay for your own transportation. But these are the 3 main costs that goes towards your monthly budget. Rest is more of your personal expenses. So the housing would be for the room budget. Average I'm talking about the individual room, not on a sharing basis. An individual room, you can say an average anywhere it could be like $600 to $800. So let's say if you go 600, it's a monthly. Grocery, it ranges for some 100, 150, 200, 250 per month, depending upon how you spend. Phone bill will be anywhere from $50 to $100. So then you can do just your own math and you can see, well, overall I probably need at least $1,000 monthly to just make sure you're focusing on your studies. And of course you're allowed to work 20 hours, but then that's like whatever you earn from the 20 hours, not right on, so that's part-time job. But when are you gonna get the part-time job? Some make it right away, some take 1 week, some take 2 weeks. So that's just the reality. It's not basically you will start having a job from the first day, maybe some guys. So in just to face the reality, you should be prepared to have around $1,000, and that's what I think the GIC would help you. And on top of it, like maybe you're doing your own selling. So that's the budget I would consider just on an average for any student. But if they're able to spend less, that's good for them.
Chapter 5, Scholarships. Scholarships at Fleming aren't many and generous, but they do have a few entrance and merit scholarships. But when it comes to studying abroad, every little helps, right? Let us understand more from Zameer.
So the scholarship is available. However, it depends on the number of entries. So let's say there is always a cap. If the cap is first 20 students came and then they applied and they were able to get it, then it's basically stops and then it renews the next year. So it is there, but then it depends, which student comes first and who has applied. Comes first in terms of becoming a Fleming student. So for India currently we have what I say is $750. That's an entry scholarship, and it's basically awarded to a student who have achieved minimum 7.0 in IELTS or PTA 66 minimum, TOEFL 94 minimum, Duolingo 130 minimum, and then the GP of 80% in the last education. So basically in your last education, if you have 80% and then the minimum or language course provided, you will be eligible for 750 Canadian dollars as an entry scholarship. However, there is something called merit-based scholarship, which is another $500. So that's based on your Fleming GPA, which is usually in your first semester. So let's say you came to Fleming, studied first semester, scored 3.8 plus GPA, then you get $500 on top of it.
Chapter 6, Post-Study Work Opportunities. Getting a job is everyone's ultimate goal, whether you want to stay back in Canada or you want to move back to India. Zameer shares some insights on the Canadian job market and how you can add more value to your CV. Let's hear from him.
It depends on which program the student has studied, but there are a good number of opportunities. And then as you can see through the ISSC, right, they also have implemented several programs in terms of the express entry. There is a general express entry, but then they have introduced 4 to 5 category in terms for healthcare professionals. Then there are trade professions, which usually go skilled trade. Then there are agriculture, and then there are 2 more categories. So these are the industry that has a good number of options or jobs available. Oh yeah, there is STEM, which is basically technology, engineering, math. So these are the options still available. Now, in terms of the job opportunities, it does depend which program the student has graduated from. So, like someone who's graduated from healthcare is already boomed. It's one of the key pillars of Canada. Canada is famous for a good healthcare and then a medical facility. But someone is coming from an IT, there are big number of big companies of IT in Canada. Of course, it depends on the competition as well. So, I always say this to the students is, when you come into Canada, don't take it in a very light way. I'm just going to go to Canada, graduate and get the job right away. It's everywhere in the world that, you have to sell out yourself. So when you come to Canada, you come with a group of international students that are coming from all around the world. But on top of it, there are also Canadians who are already living in Canada, they're studying. So when you're studying, maybe do some side certification while you're studying. That gives you a bonus in terms of having an extra skills on your resume. So irrespective of which program you're coming, while you are studying, do side certification. And believe me, you will have time to do that. Talk to your faculty. They know what certifications will add value to your resume. But coming back to, I'm not trying to dodge the question, the viewer, but in terms of the job opportunities, there are a good number of job opportunities depending upon which program you're choosing and how you're taking the program seriously. If you're just taking a program for the sake of, let's say, coming to Canada and then for the sake of just getting a study permit, I don't want to say this in a very harsh way, but you may run into some challenge because that was never your interest. But if you, let's say, chose, I don't know, plumbing, I'm just giving an example, and you are interested in it, you will put your all efforts into plumbing, and then eventually that efforts will be recognized by faculty, by your employers. So choose your program carefully based on your academics, based on your background, and based on the job market in Canada in terms of not just for while you are studying, but what you will get after you study.
So that was all for today's video. Also, don't forget to download the free guide to Fleming College from the description box and the pinned comment below. Also, let me know which other college should I feature in the next video. Thank you for watching, and let us catch up in the next one.